In a dramatic 215 to 214 vote on May 22, 2025, House Republicans passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a major victory for President Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana. The sprawling legislation, packed with Trump's priorities, extends the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, making permanent individual and corporate tax reductions set to expire this year. The Congressional Budget Office (CBO) estimates these cuts will cost over $2 trillion over the next decade, reshaping America's economic landscape. The bill also fulfills Trump's campaign pledges by eliminating taxes on tips and overtime wages through 2028, aiming to boost take-home pay for service workers and those working extra hours. The White House claims families could see increased wages and financial relief. A contentious issue was the state and local tax SALT deduction cap, a sore point for Republicans from high-tax states like New York, New Jersey, and California. The 2017 tax law capped SALT deductions at $10,000, hitting these states hard. After intense negotiations, the bill raises the cap to $40,000 for individuals earning up to $500,000, a compromise costing nearly $1 trillion over 10 years. This move aims to ease the tax burden on middle-class residents but has sparked criticism from fiscal conservatives worried about the growing deficit. The bill allocates nearly $50 billion for border security, including funds to resume U.S.-Mexico border wall construction, hire 3,000 new Border Patrol agents, and support Trump's mass deportation plans targeting up to 1 million undocumented immigrants annually. The White House frames this as a crackdown on waste, fraud, and abuse, projecting the removal of 1.4 million undocumented immigrants from Medicaid rolls. Critics argue these measures could disrupt communities and strain local economies, sparking heated debate. On the social safety net, the bill imposes work requirements on Medicaid recipients aged 19 to 64, starting in 2026. Those covered under the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion must work, volunteer, or train for 80 hours a month to maintain eligibility. The CBO projects 10.3 million people could lose coverage over a decade, with many left uninsured. The bill also cuts billions from Medicaid and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, prompting Democrats, led by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat New York, to slam it as a GOP tax scam that prioritizes tax breaks for the wealthy over the needs of the poor. The legislation rolls back green energy tax credits from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, accelerating the phase-out of incentives for electric vehicles, solar, and wind energy. The Center for American Progress warns this could jeopardize 686,000 jobs, many in Republican-led states, and raise energy costs by shifting reliance to fossil fuels. Some GOP lawmakers, like Representative Mark Amodei, Republican Nevada, voiced concerns over these cuts but ultimately backed the bill. To avoid a mid-July default, the bill raises the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. However, the CBO projects it could add $2.3 trillion to $3.8 trillion to the deficit, alarming fiscal hawks. Hardline conservatives, led by Representative Chip Roy, Republican Texas, pushed for deeper spending cuts but settled for partial wins, with Trump promising executive actions to address their demands. Johnson navigated deep GOP divisions to secure passage, with only Representatives Thomas Massie, Kentucky, and Warren Davidson, Ohio, voting against it, and Representative Andy Harris, Republican Maryland, voting present. Trump's rare Capitol Hill visit and late-night White House meetings were pivotal in swaying holdouts. Johnson hailed the vote as a return to morning in America, emphasizing economic growth and national security. The Senate, led by Majority Leader John Thune, Republican South Dakota, plans changes to Medicaid and tax provisions, risking House pushback. Hardliners warn against major alterations, with a July 4th deadline looming. Democrats are gearing up for a 2026 midterm fight, framing the bill's cuts as harmful to the vulnerable. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act is a bold, polarizing step for Trump's second term, with supporters touting prosperity and critics warning of devastating impacts.